guys, it's Ahmer here. So here we are back with another episode in my series where I take you guys along with me on my Super Nintendo collecting journey, where we try and go out there and try and find all of the Super Nintendo games for a full set. So we scored quite a few more this week, and I can't wait to show off some of the heavy hitters. So let's go ahead and check this out. So last week we left off with 373 games out of the 721 that I needed for my Super Nintendo set. And I had to stop by one of my favorite video game stores. This is actually a flea market that has a video game area, movie area, and they just own all of that. So it's really cool to go in there and find these amazing deals on these awesome items. So we'll just go ahead and jump into it. But before we do, if you guys enjoy this content, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notification so that you never miss out, as we are constantly adding more and more to this awesome series. So we'll just go ahead and jump into it. So here we have this ESPN Speed World. This is not a very good racing game. It just does not hold up to some of the classics on the Super Nintendo. So this one right here, you're pretty much just going around in circles, and the background just doesn't look the greatest. It really doesn't have a whole lot to it. There are so many other great racing games, but I wanted to go ahead and try this one out. So what do you guys think? Did you guys get stuck playing this back in the day? Is this a game that maybe you guys played as a kid that you couldn't really say no to, but you just played it anyway? Let me know. And then next up, I have this game right here. We actually have Operation Europe, Path to Victory, 1939 to 45. So already, this sounds like a game that would have tons of action, but that's not really the case. This is one of those strategy style games that doesn't have a whole lot of like quick action to it. You're just kind of like waiting around, you're reading the screen. There's so much reading in this game, and I just thought that this like strategy style game might have been a little bit different. Thought that there would have been tons more action in it, but sadly there is not. So this game, I don't think I'm going to invest a lot of time into, really. But then, it starts to pick up a little bit. Here we actually have Super Baseball 2020. Now, this would have been a game that maybe you were excited to play back in the day, because we're past 2020, so this isn't really a futuristic style game. But I like where they were going with this game. There was actually a whole lot going on with it. You actually had a blast going through playing this like futuristic style approach to baseball. You had these different, robots that you could actually upgrade as you're moving through the game, and you can earn money and get money taken away. So this was a pretty interesting take on baseball, and everything kind of represents in this like cool futuristic style field. You have different out of bounds areas, so it is like a different spin on things in this particular game. And it actually probably seemed like a pretty interesting game back in the day, but I just can't imagine playing Super Baseball 2020, a futuristic baseball game, in 2023. That just seems a little bit outdated. But then up next, I would have to say that I scored a home run right here. We have Batter Up, It's a Hit. So this game right here, pretty exciting. I had this actual controller, but I didn't realize that it went with this particular baseball game. So once I get this pesky little Blockbuster sticker off, I'm sure that I'll go ahead and try out this pretty fun and interesting controller. So this right here was actually made for the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis. So this was actually ahead of its time if you think about the Nintendo Wii with those motion style controllers. Well, this one, you have like this foam padding, you have like a 24-inch or so baseball bat, and it has like this extra long controller cable, like 12 feet. You have this control pad built in, so you could go ahead and pretty much swing, and then you'll have to control the outfield and some of the other moves by actually using the buttons on this like cool little controller. So it's more of like a novelty item, but I just absolutely thought that this game and the history is pretty fascinating, because you have like this little, like as you kind of tilt the controller, a little thing pops out and hits this like little switch on the inside. So it kind of is like this like whole tilt mechanism. And it's actually pretty neat, especially if you try and play this game You could go ahead and program it for different games as well, and you don't even have to stop there. You don't have to only play it for baseball games. You could play all of these different platformers, different games on the Super Nintendo with this pretty interesting controller. Now, I could definitely see what they were doing with this, trying to market it towards children. You have like this crazy box art on here with this weird like fisheye style. It's just an interesting spin on things and just a wacky good time. So, do you guys remember getting this? Did you fall into the hype of it? And do you think that it was ahead of its time? Then, up next, we actually have this heavy hitter right here. I got such a great deal on it when I stopped by my local video game store. So this right here is Nosferato. So this is perfect for all of those horror fans. And this is definitely a game that you have to try out. So pretty much you have this awesome music. It really kind of sets the tone and the feel with this like spooky, cinematic style platforming game. And I just love this whole like horror theme. The colors are a little bit drab, but that's great. It actually works with this whole feel of like this horror style game. So pretty much you go around and you have to save your girl from being kidnapped. And what better way to do so? You go up against Frankenstein's monster, goblins, mummies, just all of these awesome, crazy, wacky characters. So I just love this whole like spooky-esque vibe to it. And I love the style of this game. Now you get to punch and you have like these jump kicks. This is a pretty tough game. There are tons of things that go against you, like different spikes that you have to be on the lookout for. There are puzzles, and there are tons of boss fights. So this was definitely a score that I scored at one of my favorite video game flea markets. So if you guys are ever in Joppatown, Maryland, you have to check out this flea market. They have so many great deals on items, so many different games. They even have like a discounted area as well, so that you could find different games for different systems. And I always have a blast anytime that I go into this store. So I just had a great time trying to grow my Super Nintendo collection. And we started out with 373, and we are ending with 378. So I just can't wait to see what next week holds, or what the future holds with trying to grow my Super Nintendo collection, trying to find these awesome deals out there and awesome games. I would have to say that the Batter Up controller with that game, and then even this game right here, would have to be the highlights. Some of the other games I'm not sure that I'll really play too much, but these ones I definitely want to kind of get the full experience with it. Let me know in the comments below which games you really enjoyed. And of course, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Go ahead and check out my other videos and stay tuned for more.